Welcome to the ASTRALX Deep Dive, illuminating your path. I'm your intuitive guide, Lunaria Selene.
And I'm your cosmic strategist, Solarian Zephyr. We bridge celestial wisdom to unlock your modern parenting path
Discover guiding starlight insights for your sensitive water sign child.
as we explore powerful cosmic energies swirling in Neptune's creative depths. How might art transform your Pisces moonchild's emotional waves into sacred creative flow?
So let's begin by really getting into the core essence of a Pisces moonchild, this idea that they're inherent navigators of emotional tides. How do the ancient archetypes, these, timeless stories, guide our understanding of this profound sensitivity?
Well, it's fascinating, actually, how mythology really paints this picture so vividly. You think of the Greek sea god Poseidon, right? Or maybe Varuna in Vedic lore, who rules the cosmic waters, cosmic law.
Right.
And just as these figures, these deities, master the oceans, Pisces moon children are, well, they're inherently wired to navigate their own intense emotional tides, especially through creative expression. And a really crucial insight from our sources is this child's innate need to, dissolve the boundaries between reality and imagination.
Dissolve boundaries. That sounds key.
It is, because if we ignore this fundamental fluidity, they risk feeling overwhelmed, almost like drowning in their emotions, as you mentioned.
Drowning.
Yeah, but when it's channeled consciously, this exact same fluidity unlocks their divine creativity.
Drowning and overwhelm, that sounds incredibly intense. Could you elaborate a bit on what that might actually look like for a child? Beyond just crying. What specific signs should parents maybe watch for?
Absolutely. And it's often subtle,
Okay.
not always a big outburst.
Okay.
You might see them retreating, maybe becoming unusually quiet, or even physically fidgety, like their inner world is just too vast to contain comfortably.
Oh,
They might struggle with transitions too, or become easily exhausted by, say, too much stimulation, precisely because their emotional boundaries are so porous.
like sponges, right?
Yeah, exactly like sponges, absorbing everything around them. And this brings us right to their core traits. These children are hypersensitive, they often possess innate artistic gifts, and, well, they have very porous emotional boundaries. Figures like Dane Rudhyar describe this quite well. And Neptune, as the ruling planet of Pisces, it truly amplifies their empathy. But this, unfortunately, can lead towards escapism if their vast energies aren't directed or acknowledged properly.
Right. And beyond these general traits, we're looking at specific astrological nuances too, aren't we? The precise placements in their birth chart can tell us even more detail.
Precisely. That's where it gets really specific. For instance, a moon square Neptune aspect in their chart, that might indicate a tendency towards confusion in expressing feelings,
Okay.
making it genuinely hard for them sometimes to articulate what they're experiencing inside.
Yeah.
But conversely, say a moon trine Jupiter aspect can point towards intuitive healing gifts.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, revealing their innate capacity to soothe and connect with others on a really deep empathic level. It's truly about recognizing these specific energetic signatures within their unique birth chart. They offer a kind of personalized map.
A map. I like that. Let's pivot slightly to a deeper application of this. How does this unique sensitivity influence how a Pisces moonchild processes profound experiences, even, trauma?
This is where it gets really compelling, I think. If we connect this to the bigger picture, Neptune's inherent fluidity. It contrasts so sharply with Saturn's very structured, logical approach, right?
Totally different energies.
Completely. And our sources suggest that Pisces moonchildren often process trauma not through linear logic, not through rational explanation, but profoundly through metaphor.
Metaphor.
Yes, it's strikingly similar to Carl Jung's studies on active imagination, where symbols and images become the very language of healing.
So art becomes the channel.
Exactly. Art provides that vital metaphorical language. It offers a safe and expressive channel for deep emotional release when, words simply aren't enough or aren't the right fit.
That makes so much sense. And this deep dive, it goes beyond just Western astrology. What unique insights do various global traditions offer? How do they complement this understanding?
It's actually fascinating how consistent these core insights are across different cultures. If you look from a Vedic or sidereal perspective, the Pisces moon aligns with something called Ravati Nakshatra.
Ravati Nakshatra.
Yes, it's a specific lunar mansion, and it's associated with cosmic transition and passage, very Piscean themes.
Okay.
And rituals in this tradition often involve water offerings to ancestors. It's known as Pitru Tarpan.
Water offerings.
A practice that highlights a deep connection to ancestral wisdom and emotional release, again, through the fluid element. It really resonates with that Piscean need for release and connection to something larger than oneself.
Wow. And what about the Chinese elements? How do they add to this picture?
Well, in Chinese elemental philosophy, you definitely see a dominance of water energy with the Pisces moon. Water represents flow, deep emotion, intuition,
Right.
and practitioners often recommend balancing this strong water energy with wood energy.
Wood? Why wood?
Wood symbolizes growth, uprightness, structure, a kind of grounding. And this balance can be achieved through really simple tactile tools like bamboo art brushes.
Bamboo brushes.
Yeah, they connect that inherent fluidity, that water flow, to a more grounded, structured form of creation. It's about channeling that vast flow into something tangible and rooted, helping it take form.
That connection between fluidity and grounding through something as simple as a bamboo brush, that's quite powerful, isn't it?
It really is.
And a specific practitioner insight caught my eye in the sources, something very practical for parents listening.
Yes. Tokyo astrologer Keiko Oikawa. She specifically recommends ink wash painting for Pisces moon kids.
Ink wash painting. Okay.
The fluid, often spontaneous strokes of ink on paper, they beautifully mirror the child's emotional landscape. It provides a truly visual and unconstrained outlet for whatever they're feeling inside.
So they can just let it flow out onto the page?
Exactly. It allows their emotions to literally flow freely onto the page, which can be incredibly cathartic for them, a nonverbal release.
So beyond the celestial influences and these cultural techniques, how do we see this playing out in their bodies and their development? What are the sort of physical cues we should be looking for?
Their bodies often tell a very clear story. They tend to internalize so much.
Right.
For instance, tight shoulders can be a really common indicator of absorbed stress because these children, they tend to just soak up the emotions and energies of others around them in fidgety hands. That often signals unexpressed creativity, that intense inner need to manifest their inner world outwardly.
Okay, so watch the shoulders, watch the hands.
Exactly. Recognizing these subtle somatic cues is so crucial for caregivers. It allows you to intervene early and effectively, offering an outlet before those emotions become overwhelming.
Right, preemptively. So, okay, we can look for these physical signs of emotional buildup. Then what? What about specific calming techniques that directly address these needs, help them release that absorbed tension?
Chakra work can be remarkably powerful for them, especially focusing on the third eye, or ajna chakra.
The third eye.
Yes, which is associated with intuition and perception. It can be stimulated and balanced with the use of, say, indigo watercolors.
Indigo watercolors, okay.
The idea is to guide the child to visualize their emotions flowing directly onto the paper. It creates a very direct, very therapeutic release of that internal tension. It's a way to externalize what's swirling around inside.
Visualizing it flowing out. I like that. And tailoring these approaches to their age, their developmental stage, that seems really important for actually engaging them effectively, right? A 3-year-old processes things so differently than a teen.
Oh, absolutely. It's crucial. For younger children, say ages maybe 3 to 7, sand play therapy offers a fantastic avenue. It's great for pre-verbal emotional release.
Sand play.
Yeah, they can create entire worlds and stories within the sand tray, processing feelings without needing the words for them yet.
That sounds amazing.
It really is. And then for teens, you might use a more sophisticated approach, like something called Neptune journaling.
Neptune journaling.
It's a practice of maybe collaging dreams, inner visions, feelings. This helps them process identity confusion, which can be a particularly turbulent stage of development for a Pisces moon child.
Yeah, adolescence is tough anyway.
Exactly. It allows them to visually sort out their inner world and connect with their evolving self in a way that feels authentic to them.
This all sounds incredibly practical and really empowering for parents.
Right.
What are some interactive ways to engage with this wisdom, to truly connect with your child on this deeper emotional level?
Well, one powerful tool mentioned is a specific journal prompt. It fosters that metaphorical expression we talked about.
Okay, what is it?
It's something like, when my child withdraws like a tide, I feel, and then draw this emotion as a sea creature.
Oh, wow. For the parent and the child?
Ideally, yes, or at least for the parent to understand their own reaction and then perhaps adapt it for the child. It encourages both to express complex feelings metaphorically, offers a shared language, for what might otherwise be really difficult to articulate directly.
Moving beyond words into image and feeling.
Precisely.
And is there a ritual blueprint, something to ground these concepts, to bring them into a kind of sacred space within the home?
Yes, the new moon in Pisces ritual is suggested as a really beautiful way to do this.
New moon in Pisces.
You'd gather simple materials like maybe a blue fabric bowl, some seashells, non-toxic watercolors.
Okay.
And the steps involve having the children paint their feelings into the water in the bowl, then maybe place seashells as symbolic anchors within the bowl, and whispering affirmations together like, your depth is sacred.
Ah, your depth is sacred. That's lovely.
It's a very tangible, sensory way to honor their emotional world and create a real sense of safety and acceptance around their sensitivity.
And there's also an embodiment exercise mentioned, something for parent and child to do together to create that physical connection and literally move the energy.
Yes, the parent-child wave breathing exercise is wonderful for this.
Wave breathing.
It involves synchronizing your breath with arm movements. So you inhale as your arms rise up like a cresting wave.
Okay.
And then exhale as your arms swoosh down. It physically embodies that fluidity and release that's so vital for Pisces moon children. It allows them to literally feel their emotions flow and find a sense of calm through movement.
Physically embodying it. That seems really helpful.
Yeah.
Let's look at a common scenario where this wisdom really applies, something many parents might recognize. Picture this.
Okay, let's imagine that classic conflict, right?
Yeah.
You have a logic-driven Virgo sun mom, very practical, very down to earth.
Right.
And she's trying to rationalize with her Pisces moon child who is genuinely crying over sad clouds.
Yeah.
Chuckles slightly. I can picture that.
Yeah. And the natural inclination for the Virgo mom might be to say, stop overreacting, or clouds aren't sad. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, try to apply logic.
Exactly. But our sources show this typically only escalates the meltdown. It creates a deeper sense of misunderstanding and maybe even emotional shutdown for the child. They just feel unseen.
So how does astrology offer a solution here? Moving beyond just logic to truly meet the child where they are in their feeling state.
Well, the astrological solution suggests trying to use Neptune-ruled hours.
Neptune-ruled hours, what are those?
These are specific times during the day when Neptune's influence is considered particularly strong in the daily planetary transits. You can often find these listed in astrological calendars or apps.
Okay.
And engaging in art-based dialogue during these specific hours means the child is likely most receptive to that non-linear, intuitive kind of communication. Their Piscean nature is more accessible.
Ah, timing it right. Interesting.
And additionally, somatic tools can be incredibly helpful in the moment, like maybe placing a soothing crystal, something like aquamarine, on the child's wrist. It's believed to help cool emotional overwhelm.
Aquamarine.
Oh,
Like the sea.
Exactly. And even herbal allies, like offering chamomile tea during their art sessions, can gently soothe their sensitive nerves and just enhance their receptivity to calming down and expressing themselves.
Little gentle supports.
Yeah.
Makes sense. Looking ahead then, how might a Pisces moon child's unique gifts develop over time? What are the different paths they might take based on how they're nurtured and guided?
Well, our sources highlight three sort of distinct potential pathways.
Okay.
The first is an optimized path. This is where the child with proper channeling of their sensitivity truly blossoms. They might become an intuitive artist, a musician, a gifted healer, using that empathy constructively.
The ideal outcome. Right. The second is, well, a more challenged path. This can happen if their porous emotional boundaries are consistently ignored or invalidated. It can unfortunately lead to escapism, maybe into fantasy worlds, or perhaps excessive gaming as a way to cope with the overwhelm.
A way to check out.
Pretty much. And finally, there's a path described as karmic healing. This sometimes involves things like creating family art altars.
Art altars.
Yeah, to consciously honor maybe ancestors' unexpressed creativity, acknowledging and potentially resolving generational emotional patterns through art and ritual, using their sensitivity for deep family work.
Wow, that's deep. And what does the celestial forecast tell us? Are there upcoming opportunities for these children, astrologically speaking?
Yes, there's a significant transit to watch for. That's Neptune moving into Aries.
Neptune in Aries, when is that?
It's coming up from roughly 2026 to 2039. And this period is energetically poised to encourage really courageous self-expression. Aries is bold, right?
Very bold.
So our sources suggest this is an ideal time for things like bold mural projects, allowing these children to truly externalize their rich inner worlds in a big, confident, unapologetic way.
So moving from inner flow to outer action.
Exactly. It's a period that could really foster empowered artistic bravery for them.
It's quite fascinating, isn't it, how these celestial and psychological concepts resonate in pop culture, too. It makes them so relatable. Can you give us an example?
Indeed. It really helps ground it. Parenting a Pisces moon child, you could say it's very much like guiding Luca from that delightful Pixar film.
Ah, Luca.
Guiding him through human emotions, right? And art, in this wonderful metaphor, becomes his sea monster disguise.
Puckles, his disguise.
Yeah. A safe and magical way to explore and express his true, sensitive, watery self in the human world without feeling vulnerable or misunderstood. It's his way of translating his unique nature.
That's a perfect analogy. And is there a modern icon who really embodies this? Someone showing the power of channeled creativity for a whole generation?
I think Billie Eilish is a powerful example. She has a strong Pisces moon placement in her chart.
Oh, does she? Okay.
Yes. And her songwriting acts as this profound form of emotional alchemy, doesn't it, for an entire generation. She openly transforms deep feelings, vulnerability, introspection into compelling, often dark, but resonant art.
Yeah, definitely.
It truly demonstrates the transformative power of channeled creativity and how that deep sensitivity can actually become a kind of global superpower when expressed authentically.
A superpower. I love that framing. Now, this deep dive, it's for every caregiver, right? How does this apply to diverse parenting styles and family structures, especially for those who might feel maybe less intuitively aligned with a water signs fluidity, like an earth sign parent?
That's a great point. Caregivers with strong earth placements like, Taurus, Virgo, or Capricorn, they might naturally struggle a bit with the fluidity and the boundaryless nature of water signs like Pisces Moon.
It's just a different mode.
Completely different mode. And it's so important for them to understand that their structure, their practicality, it's not something to be rejected by the child, but rather it is truly needed and valued.
Oh.
That grounding presence acts as a vital anchor for the child's more ethereal nature. It provides safety and form. Think of it like a solid riverbank. For the flowing river, both are essential.
The riverbank for the river. That's helpful.
And our sources also touch upon gender-neutral insights, which is important. Recognizing that, for example, non-binary parents with, say, Uranus in the 4th house in their chart.
Uranus in the 4th, unconventional home life.
Exactly. Signifies an unconventional approach to home and roots. They may find their own fluidity beautifully mirrors their Neptune-ruled child's needs.
Ah, a shared understanding.
Yes, potentially fostering an incredibly deep and intuitive connection based on that shared understanding of non-traditional expression of being.
It's really clear, then, that this isn't just about astrology in isolation, is it? It's a truly holistic approach, validated by diverse fields of study. It brings together ancient wisdom with modern understanding.
Exactly. That's the goal. The insights we've discussed today, they draw from rigorous astrological study, yes, but also deep Vedic texts, the profound psychological insights of Jungian analysis, and established practical art therapy techniques.
The whole tapestry.
It really is. Creating a truly comprehensive and hopefully validated framework for nurturing these unique and deeply feeling souls, offering multiple avenues for understanding and support.
As our deep dive concludes, we've explored the rich inner world of the Pisces moon child, guided by the celestial wisdom of Neptune.
Dive deeper into your unique parenting path. We've seen how sensitivity is truly a superpower, and how art isn't just a hobby, it's actually a profound language for emotional processing and, well, divine creativity.
So consider this. In what unexpected ways might your child's emotional waves actually be a profound invitation for your own journey into creative flow and deeper understanding?
Request your personalized Pisces Moon art ritual audio reading now via email. Find the link glowing in the description below.
Explore oceanic episode resources and ancestral healing links. All treasures await you there.
Ignite creativity. Think fluidly. Become the anchor.
Subscribe for more Starlight Insights.
And thank you for sailing these celestial waters with us.